Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to prisoners are going viral on TikTok. I can't believe this. First of all, I thought prisoners didn't have access to phones. And yes, I imagine some of them will have them smuggled in, but wouldn't they get caught? If they're making video of themselves where you can see their face, surely, you know, the prison officers will see that and they'll know who has a phone. They'll just search the cell and confiscate it. How are they able to keep these phones? Or have they got like a stream of phones coming in? I'm really intrigued by this. Can't wait to actually watch this. So let's get straight to it. What the?
Welcome to Prison TikTok.
This is a state stove made out of a melted hot pot. It's how we make our hot water in the morning for our coffee.
The lives of incarcerated people that were once hidden are now going viral thanks to the younger generation.
People became so hyped up about them, they get to see what it's like behind the wall. It's like a whole nother world.
Kevin Smith is one of dozens of people who have posted their prison experiences on the platform. Now, we're seeing the daily meals.
That was a good tray that I posted. There's trays that are in there that are so gross, like it'll run away from you before you eat it.
The minimal outdoor time, and the how-tos for prison life hacks, like heating up hot water.
Wow, look at this.
That's literally how we had to make hot water because they don't have hot water.
I mean, this is clever. He's made a kettle. Why didn't they apply this to, outside life, this ingenuity?
Everything on Canteen that they do sell requires to be cooked, so the only way to cook it is to MacGyver
This is
something.
super smart.
And while cell phone footage from prisons has found its way on social media before,
People share this, man.
these TikToks are confronting misconceptions of prison life.
Wanted to show people what it was like inside, like behind the wall, and there's not all bad people in there.
Due to prisons being hidden and removed from society, mass incarceration in the U.S. is vastly misunderstood, with entertainment perpetuating ideas of rowdy prison life and those incarcerated drawn up as soulless criminals who are all dangerous to society.
Anger management. Controlling the savage beast inside you.
But TikTok is challenging that.
That was funny.
People on the outside are seeing people on the inside as people.
Bianca Tylek is the founder and executive director of Worth Rises, a national criminal justice advocacy organization working to end the exploitation of people that it targets.
So I always knew that I wanted to, at some point, work on criminal justice issues.
She says TikTok is especially showing the realities of a younger generation that is incarcerated, which is resonating with other TikTok users.
As people, many times who are young, as people who are charismatic, as people who experience joy and pain and all of the same sentiments that we do every day. And I think that's really, really critical.
It's giving people the chance to ask all sorts of questions about prison life, with one being the most common. How do they have cell phones in the first place?
Right.
Cell phones are contraband in prisons. Lawmakers stress their potential danger to facilitate crimes. There have been some instances where contraband cell phones were used to threaten state senators, blackmail civilians for money, as well as extort other inmates' loved ones. Yet, they still have made their way past prison walls in the thousands.
I mean, surely the only way they're getting in is corrupt prison guards, because you can't mail a cell phone in. Someone's got to get it through the doors and security. It's got to be the guards, hasn't it?
Don't get me wrong, there's people that will use it for bad, use it to make hits on the outside and stuff like that. But if they were so worried about them, then the staff members wouldn't bring them in.
Cell phone smuggling has been previously caught on camera, from being stuffed inside sports balls and thrown over fences to getting dropped by drones.
Wow.
But one way is by far the most common.
The only way that cell phones really make their way into facilities in a mass movement or way is through staff.
Officers or kitchen workers or, people who deliver stuff. That's how it all comes in.
And the punishment for being caught with one can range from time in solitary confinement to years added on to sentences.
Years added on.
But I figured if it did go any type of viral or anything, that it would probably take a while for them to catch on, and by that time I'd be gone.
Kevin only started posting about a week before he was set to be released back in April, knowing at that point it would be less likely he'd get caught with a phone. And those we spoke to who are still in prison asked to be recorded over the phone for their safety, like J Money.
I go through the extra steps to make sure that I'm careful on my end.
Wow, so he's communicating with her via social media from prison. This is crazy.
You know what I mean? In 6 years, I got caught with 2 phones. And then this year, they wrote me up for being on TikTok.
In 2018, almost 12,000 cell phones were seized in Mississippi prisons alone.
12,000?
Cell phones are so pervasive that lawmakers cannot stop the onslaught that is coming in. So they're trying to stop their use in a different way, with the Cell Phone Jamming Reform Act. Introduced by Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton and South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham in 2019, the bill would allow state and federal prisons to use phone jamming technology to prevent cell phone
That'll
usage.
do it.
This technology is currently prohibited by the FCC. The bill's motivation might not only be to prevent crimes, but also to keep inhumane prison conditions hidden from the public.
The virality of TikTok helps us actually see the
What's
thing
going on in
that
there.
so many are trying to hide from us.
It's stuff that you don't get to see every day. Nobody's used to being inside of a prison cell or just actually communicating with prisoners.
And that communication and insight has made TikToks from inside prisons go viral, with accounts boasting over 300,000 followers.
I'm kind of caught in two minds here. On one hand, you know, I don't want them to be so cut off from the world that, you know, they go crazy and become hardened criminals. But on the other hand, they're in prison for a reason. You know, there should be an element of punishment to it. Man, what do you guys think here? Should they not, under any circumstances, be allowed to have phones? What do you guys think? Let me know.
That kind of backing allows for their voices to be heard and learned from.
One thing, I knew that it was a bunch of kids on there, so I kind of wanted to post it as like a reality of what would happen if you go to prison. I mean, it's not any place that you want to end up.
And maybe even make some outside money to get by. J-Money and other accounts list their cash apps in their bios. But perhaps most importantly, people are using TikTok for the need of human connection.
A lot of people my age right now is still young. They still using Instagram. People are still using Facebook.
Wow,
And
he's
people
making
posting
tacos.
pictures like, I still want to be a part of that.
This desperation is a desperation of connection to other humans, to community, to support systems, to life, to the rest of the world, and a reminder that you exist. And it's not shocking that they would risk their safety to be on TikTok, to have that level of human connection.
And that risk for connection can be especially important when staying in contact with family.
It's to keep in contact with basically the outside world. I keep in contact with my family first.
This is a prepaid collect call from
Jeremy Fernandez.
This call is being recorded. To accept charges, press 1. You may start the conversation now.
Hey, babe.
Hey, baby, what you doing?
Ashley Martinez is 27, and her fiance Jeremy
This video's got me feeling sorry for him. It's like I have to remind myself these guys are criminals, but it's got me feeling bad for him. What do you guys think here? Am I being soft right now?
has been incarcerated since January of 2019. Earlier this year, Ashley started posting her calls with Jeremy and other aspects of their relationship on TikTok.
People be like, oh my gosh, you're dating someone in prison. Why would you stop your life like that? And I'm like, oh, where? I hadn't seen any prison videos on TikTok at that time. So then I started coming up with all the hashtags.
And pretty soon, Ashley found herself part of a community of prison wives posting on TikTok, showing that it's not only those behind prison walls who are affected by mass incarceration in the US.
Put a finger down if you drive an hour plus to visit. Put a finger down if you always have snacks ready. It just feels better to be a part of a community that can relate to you. I had my doubts about being a prison wife, because it is hard. I do have 4 kids, and you need your partner there with you.
Daddy. Wow, exactly what you doing, baby boy.
If you love someone,
Talking
you
to his
love
kid
someone,
from
you just
prison.
don't leave them because they're incarcerated. I could bet my life on it.
Her most popular TikToks are the phone calls with her fiance.
I love you, girl.
But those jail phone calls add up.
They're $1.94 per 30-minute phone call. He'll call me multiple times back to back.
$2 per 30 minutes. That seems expensive, right?
All day, every day. So I spend quite a bit. It used to be $40 every couple days.
Those pricey calls might be changing.
Families cannot afford to be in communication. And that's because the 2.3 million people inside and their families are susceptible and preyed upon by a $1.2 billion prison telecom industry.
Bianca's organization is one of many working to make phone calls free, or at least no more than 4 to 5 cents per minute in all prisons in the US, with the Martha Wright Prison Phone Justice Act.
The reality reality is that there's a really simple solution to contraband cell phones, and that's making phones within prison facilities, calls within prison facilities,
affordable.
free.
The act would also allow for the FCC to regulate the calls, helping prevent predatory telecom companies from profiting off of those already exploited. The bill was recently passed through the House of Representatives as part of the revised HEROES Act, and now must be passed through the Senate. In the meantime, Ashley is still calling her fiancé every day and will continue posting her experiences on TikTok.
I just feel bad for the kids, you know, like they're missing their dad.
Me bringing my relationship to TikTok gives people a lot of, maybe like a different perspective of someone who's in prison. Happy birthday to you. I hope it changes their mind, because not everybody's bad.
And people like Kevin and those currently incarcerated continue to do the same, showing others that they're still human.
The joy of incarcerated people is an act of revolution.
We really like touching other people's lives or just showing them a different world, you know?
It is watching people inside still be able to smile,
Right.
to be able to dance, to be able to laugh, to be able to enjoy music. Feels like an attack for some people on their desire to see them suffer. And for that, I hope that they all go viral.
Wow, man, that was a good video. A lot to think about. Gosh, I really don't know what to think. Honestly, I really don't know. Because at the end of the day, we can't... Oh, it's tough because yes, they're criminals. They're in prison for a reason. But at the same time, you do want to rehabilitate these people. You don't want to punish them so much that they just become worse individuals, because a lot of these guys will get released, and if they're worse, it's gonna impact society negatively. Like, so I think maybe a solution is to reward good behavior. So if you're good, you get access to a phone through the prison for a certain amount of time per day. So if you rack up enough points, you get 30 minutes a day on a cell phone. And, you know, what you do is moderated. So obviously you can do TikTok and stuff, but you can't, you know, if you send messages extorting people, then you lose all abilities to use that phone. I think something like that is probably a good compromise, because you're not going to stop these people from using phones. And I imagine they're paying a lot of money to these guards to smuggle the phones in. So I think, yeah, like if you can't stop the phones coming in, why don't you propose a solution that includes the phones, but it's a bit more controlled? I think that's probably the smart strategy. What do you guys think? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.